The Imperial Crypt in Vienna, Austria, also called the Capuchin Crypt, is a burial chamber beneath the Capuchin Church and Monastery, founded in 1618 and dedicated in 1632, and located on the Neumarkt Square of the Inner Stadt, near the Hofburg Palace. Since 1633, the Imperial Crypt has been the principal place of entombment for members of the House of Habsburg. The bones of 145 Habsburg royalty, plus urns containing the heart-cremated remains of 4 others, are here, including 12 emperors and 18 empresses. The visible 107 metal sarcophagi and 5 heart urns range in style from Puritan plain to exuberant Rococo. Some of the dozen resident Capuchin friars continue the customary role as the guardians and caretakers of the crypt, along with their other pastoral work in Vienna. The most recent entombment was in 2011.15. History. Anna of Tyrol I, wife of Emperor Matthias II, conceived the idea of a Capuchin cloister and burial crypt for her and her husband, to be built in the neighborhood of the Hofburg Castle in Vienna. She provided funds for it in the will she made on the 10th of November 1617, and soon made the funds available by dying just a year later. Her spouse followed a year after that. The foundation stone was laid on the 8th of September 1622 in the presence of Emperor Ferdinand IX 578, and after slow progress caused by the distractions of the 30 Years' War, the church was dedicated on the 25th of July 1632, and at Easter of the next year, the simple sarcophagi containing the remains of Emperor Matthias II and Empress Anna I were transferred with great ceremony to what is now called the Founders' Vault. Emperor Leopold I-37 enlarged the crypt in 1657 in the area under the nave of the church, and his son Emperor Joseph I-35 extended it further westward, and built another mausoleum chamber and a chapel to the east of France in 1710. But awkwardly, beginning the vault that his brother Emperor Charles VI 40 continued westward in 1720, that extends under the chancel and the apse choir above. For the first time, a well-known architect was involved with an enlargement of the crypt. In 1754, his daughter Empress Maria Theresa 56 went even further west, completely past the church above, into the monastery garden with her domed addition that admits natural light. The imposing dome and crypt is the work of architect Jean J. de Villiers. During the reign of her grandson Emperor Francis II, 57, architect Johann Arman turned to the north for his addition in 1824. The monastery surrounding the church had fallen into disrepair after 200 years of constant use, so during the reign of Emperor Ferdinand 62 in 1840, the monastery was torn down and rebuilt. As part of that project, architect Johann Hohner built the Ferdinand Vault and the Tuscan Vault as part of the basement of the new structure. As part of the Jubilee celebrating his 60 years on the throne in 1908, Emperor Franz Joseph 142 had architect Cajo Perisic build another mausoleum chamber and a chapel to the east of Franz II 57 and Ferdinand's 62 vaults. At the same time, new annexes for visitors were created on either side of the church. By 1960, it was obvious from the deteriorating condition of the tombs that the environment of changing heat and humidity needed to be controlled if the historic sarcophagi were to survive for future generations. The new vault north of the Tuscan, Ferdinand's and the Franz Joseph Vault was built by architect Karl Schwanzer, with metal doors by sculptor Rudolf Hoflener. It added about 20% to the space of the crypt, and was used as part of a massive rearrangement of the tombs in the vaults. The original small vault had held, besides the tombs of the 2 founders, those of a dozen children, and had been called the Angels' Vault. Those were moved to open niches newly made in the front wall of the Leopold Vault. Selected tombs from various other vaults were moved to the new vault and grouped in themes such as bishops, the direct ancestors of the last reigning emperor, and the immediate family of Archduke Charles 122 to the victor of Aspern. 37 other tombs, of some minors and minor members of the ruling family, were walled up into 4 piers created in the Ferdinand Vault. Thus about half of all the tombs were moved out of the original vaults to more orderly places as part of that great reorganization. In 2003 another project made the crypt accessible to disabled visitors, and opened previously unused doors so that the visitor route no longer requires the 100% backtracking that was necessary before. The entire crypt was also air-conditioned to prevent deterioration of the tombs. The sarcophagi. The freestanding tombs are usually variations of either a flat-topped storage chest or a tub with sloping sides and a convex lid of tapered decks. Ornamentation ranges from simple to elaborate. Until far in the 18th century, the most common material for a sarcophagus here was a bronze-like alloy of tin, coated with shellac. The splendid tombs of the Baroque and Rococo eras are made of true bronze, a nobler and therefore more expensive material. Reforming Emperor Joseph II 42 decreed simplified burial customs for the people, and introduced the use of lighter and cheaper copper into the Imperial Crypt, where it was then used into the 19th century. In the later 19th century a mixture of cast brass and bronze as well as silver-bronzed copper was adopted. Other metals were used only rarely, except for silver and gold plating on decorations. Various techniques of metalworking were used: full casting for the sarcophagus, hollow casting for decorative sculpture, carving, engraving, and hammered relief for surface decoration. The parts for chests and covers are riveted together, ornaments and decorative figures are screwed on. The sculptor responsible for the most elaborate tombs is Balthasar Ferdinand Moll. In order to guarantee the stability of the enormous display tombs, they have iron bracings and wood lining inside. This avoids both cave-ins and a buckling of the side walls from the weight of the cover. The cover of the double tomb of Empress Maria Theresa 56 and her husband 55 alone weighs approximately 1,700 kilograms. Within the outer case lies a wooden coffin that is wrapped in silk. The coffin usually has 2 locks. The key to one is kept by the Capuchin guardian of the crypt. The other is kept in the Schatzkammer of the Hofburg Palace in Vienna. Within the coffin, the body usually has had the organs removed as a necessary part of the embalming process for its display before the funeral. For about 1/3 of the bodies, the heart has been placed into a silver urn and sent elsewhere, and for some the intestines and other organs have been put into a copper urn and deposited in the Duke's crypt in the catacombs of Vienna's cathedral. The Stephansdom. Conservation of the tombs. Over the centuries, constant humidity, variations in temperature, and the host of visitors had taken a great toll on the sarcophagi. Corrosion craters, holes and tears had developed. Layers of the horizontal surfaces had peeled. Base plates had broken through. Decorative fixtures had been broken or stolen by visitors. The cast metal absorbed too much humidity and puffed up, and heavy covers had caused some sidewalls to bend or cave. The first major restoration effort was undertaken in 1852, but further work was needed by 1956 when the Gesellschaft zur Rettung der Grandeur Graft came into being to inform the public of the problem, raise funds, and preserve and restore the tombs. It was first necessary to create additional space and to dehumidify the crypt. After completion of the new vault in 1960 and the transfer of 26 tombs from the overflowing Tuscan Vault, the work of dehumidification could begin. Also, a workshop was created in the south end of the Tuscan Vault where highly skilled artisans could work on selected tombs temporarily moved before restoration. In 2003, remodeling of the ground-level visitor facilities took place to create a new visitor entrance and make the crypt accessible to disabled visitors. The visitor route was also changed so that visitors now see the tombs in historical sequence by entering at one end and leaving at the other, instead of both entering and leaving via a single stairway that is in the middle of the route. Most importantly, the entire crypt was air-conditioned so that humidity can be controlled. The repair and conservation of the artistic work takes place in close cooperation with the monks, the association, the Austrian Monument Office and the Vienna Old City Preservation Fund. Persons buried here. The bodies of 145 persons, plus urns containing the heart-cremated remains of 4 others, are deposited in one of the 10 interconnected vaults of the Imperial Crypt. There include 12 emperors and 18 empresses. The most recent entombment, that of Otto von Habsburg, 150, and his wife Regina von Habsburg, was on the 16th of July 2011. From other families there are 32 spouses plus 4 others, 15417 who have found the resting place here. The oldest person entombed here is Otto von Habsburg, 150, aged 98 years and 7 months. The next oldest is his mother, Zita of Bourbon-Parma, 147, the last Austrian empress, at 97 years. Several died at birth and over 25% of those entombed here were 5 years of age or less when they died. Emperors buried here: Emperor Matthias II, Emperor Ferdinand III 27, Emperor Leopold I 37, Emperor Joseph I 35, Emperor Charles VI 40, Emperor Francis I Stephen 55, Consort of Maria Theresa 56, Emperor Joseph II 42, Emperor Leopold II 113, Emperor Francis II 57, Emperor Ferdinand I of Austria 62, Archduke Maximilian Emperor of Mexico 126, Emperor Franz Joseph of Austria 142. Empresses buried here: Anna 1, Consort of Emperor Matthias II, Maria Anna 22, Consort of Emperor Ferdinand III 27, Eleonora Magdalena 19, Consort of Emperor Ferdinand III 27, Maria Leopoldina 21, Consort of Emperor Ferdinand III 27, Margaret Theresa 20, Consort of Emperor Leopold I 37, Eleonora Magdalena 32, Consort of Emperor Leopold I 37, Elizabeth Christina 36, Consort of Emperor Charles VI 40, Maria Theresa 56, Maria Josepha 49, Consort of Emperor Joseph II 42, Isabella Maria 50, Consort of Emperor Joseph II 42, Elizabeth Wilhelmine 59, Consort of Emperor Francis II 57, Maria Theresa Carolina 60, Consort of Emperor Francis II 57, Maria Ludovica 58, Consort of Emperor Francis II 57, Carolina Augusta 61, Consort of Emperor Francis II 57, Archduchess Maria Louise, Empress of France 127, Maria Anna 63, Consort of Emperor Ferdinand I of Austria 62, Elizabeth, 143, consort of Emperor Francis Joseph of Austria, 142, Zita, 147, consort of Emperor Charles of Austria, 887. All 146 persons buried here are shown on the directory charts below, together with links to a detailed text listing. For ease of use, they show the Habsburg family buried here as family trees based upon lines of descent. Go directly to Family of the Founders. Go directly to Descendants of Emperor Ferdinand III. Go directly to Descendants of Empress Maria Theresa. Go directly to Descendants of Emperor Leopold II. Go directly to Descendants of Emperor Francis II. Go directly to Descendants of the Grand Dukes of Tuscany. Vaults. The vaults consist of an interconnected series of 10 subterranean vaulted rooms built at various times as more space was needed. The visible 107 metal sarcophagi and 5 heart urns range in style from Puritan plain to exuberant Rococo. The bodies of 145 nobles, plus urns containing the hearts and cremated remains of 4 others, are deposited here. There is only one space left. There include 12 emperors and 18 empresses. The most recent entombment, 150, was in 2011. From other families there are 32 spouses, plus 4 others, 117, who have found the resting place here. Everyone else in the Imperial Crypt was born with the Habsburgs' only title of Archduke or Archduchess. In 1960, with the various vaults overcrowded, a major rearrangement project began which resulted in the construction of the Children's Columbarium and the new vault. At the same time, many bodies were moved to those new areas. Others were moved from the Tuscan Vault and the Ferdinand Vault and walled up into the corner piers of the Ferdinand Vault. Founders Vault. The Grandeur Graft is the oldest part of the Kaiser Graft, dating from the original construction of the church, and lies under the Emperor Chapel at the left of the nave of the church above. The room is low, plain, and windowless, and visible through Baroque gates from the Leopold Vault. Here stand the 2 plain sarcophagi of the founding couple, looking through the gate from left to right. Leopold Vault. The Leopold's Graft was built under the nave of the church above, beginning in 1657 by Emperor Leopold I, 37, following the edict of his father Emperor Ferdinand III, 27, that the hereditary burial place of the imperial family would be in this church. Considering that Leopold contributed his 3 wives and 16 of his children, plus himself, to the population of the crypt, it was inevitable that other vaults would be needed soon. Children's Columbarium. Turning to the left of the gates to the Founders Vault, in the thick east foundation wall of the church are 12 longitudinal recessed niches built in the 1960s containing sarcophagi of 12 children. The coffins had previously been in either the Founders Vault or the main hall of this vault, but were generally in poor condition and have now been placed into identical cases. No markings or documentation identifies which child lies in which coffin, but those buried in these niches are 4 children of Emperor Ferdinand III, 27. 7 children of Emperor Leopold I, 37, grandson of Emperor Ferdinand III, 27. Main hall in front of the Children's Columbarium. Proceeding along the north wall, east to west. Proceeding along the south wall, east to west. Charles Vault. The first part of the Charles Vault was built in 1710 by Emperor Joseph I, 35. In 1720 it was extended by Johann Lucas von Hildebrandt on the orders of Emperor Charles VI. 40 and shelters 8 containers, proceeding along the south wall, from left to right. His tomb is one of the most remarkable, with a death's head at each corner wearing one of the distinctive crowns of his major realms. The empty plaza at the west third of this vault was used as the area for reception ceremonies when new bodies were brought in after the funeral ceremonies upstairs. Returning along the north wall, from left to right, Maria Theresa Vault. The 3 vaults of the Imperial Crypt held 44 bodies plus urns containing the hearts of 2 other persons when Empress Maria Theresa 56 started construction of the Maria Theresian Graft in 1754. It is behind the church above, with its dome rising into the monastery courtyard, and contains the tombs of 16 persons in the entrance archway. In the small chamber immediately north of Emperor Joseph II 42. In the center of the vault, from left to right, this double tomb of Empress Maria Theresa and her husband, Francis I Stephen, sculpted by Balthasar Ferdinand Moll, is of particular artistic merit and is probably the most glorious in terms of design. In the small chamber immediately south of Emperor Joseph II 42. Along the south wall, young children of Emperor Franz I Stephen 55 and Empress Maria Theresa 56 from left to right. At the southwest bend, along the west wall, mainly the family of Emperor Joseph II 42 from left to right, beside the entrance to the Franz Vault on the north wall. Franz Vault. In 1824 the 4 vaults of the Imperial Crypt held 78 bodies and urns containing the hearts of 3 other persons. In that year Emperor Franz II 57 built the octagonal Franz Graft, attaching it to the right wing of the Maria Theresa Vault. It is in the Biedermeier style, as of the 5 tombs within it. In the center, in the corners, clockwise starting from the near left corner, Until 1940, this vault also held the body of a grandson of Emperor Franz II 57 Franz Joseph Karl, Duke of Reichstadt 811. Family tree. Adolf Hitler ordered that the body be sent to France, where it now rests in Les Invalides in Paris near the body of his father, Napoleon Bonaparte. His heart is still buried in the Herzgraft in the Augustener Kirche. Through the doorway in the west wall to the left is the south part of the Tuscan Vault. In the east wall is the west entrance to the Crypt Chapel. The north wall opens into the Ferdinand Vault. Ferdinand Vault. The Ferdinandsgraft was built in 1842, along with the Tuscan Vault, in conjunction with the reconstruction of the monastery above. Although the visitor sees an almost empty room with only 2 sarcophagi, this vault actually contains 1/4 of the Imperial Crypt's entire population, walled up into the corner piers. Skip ahead to tombs 64 to 72, 73 to 79, 80 to 87, 88 to 100. Main hall. Within the southwest pier 9 tombs, mostly of youths. Within the southeast pier. Within the northwest pier 8 tombs, containing 9 bodies. Within the northeast pier 13 tombs, principally members of the Tuscan line. Tuscan Vault. The Toscana Graft was built in 1842, along with the Ferdinand Vault. At the time there were 85 bodies plus the heart urns of 3 other persons in the 5 vaults of the crypt. The Tuscan Vault once held many more than the present 14 tombs, but most were moved to the new vault or enclosed within the piers of the Ferdinand Vault during the major rearrangement of 1960. The 5-meter wide vault is very large, being 21 meters long, and extends along the entire western lengths of both the Ferdinand Vault and the Franz Vault, ending only when it meets the outside wall of the west transept of the Maria Theresia Vault. This vault takes its name from the many descendants of the younger sons of Emperor Leopold II, 113 as Grand Duke of Tuscany, who are entombed here. Note the arrangement of tombs listed below was accurate before the 2003 renovation, but they have been rearranged since then. In the archway from the Ferdinand Vault, from left to right. Behind them, from left to right, to the right of the archway, along the north wall, from left to right, to the left of the archway, along the west wall, from left to right. In front of them, along the east wall, new vault. The Nuit Graft was built between 1960 and 1962 under the monastery grounds as a 280 square meter enlargement to eliminate the overcrowded jumble of 140 bodies in the other 9 vaults, and to provide a climate-controlled environment to protect the metal sarcophagi from further deterioration. Its stark concrete walls evoke the solemnity of death. The new vault is entered from the Ferdinand Vault, and exits into the back of the Franz Joseph Vault. It contains 26 sarcophagi. Skip ahead to tombs 115 to 119, 120 to 126, 127, 128 to 134, 135 to 141 west wall. To the left of the entrance, proceeding along the west wall from south to north, the Bishop's Row, urn containing heart of Archbishop Karl Joseph of Lorraine, 117, placed atop his sarcophagus. South wall. Along the south wall. North wall. Proceeding along the north wall, from west to east, the first ledge contains the immediate family of Archduke Karl 122 to the Victor of Aspern. Urn with heart and entrails of Henriette of Nassau-Weilburg, 123. On its own pedestal, directly across from the tomb of Empress Maria Louise, 127. The next ledge along the north wall, from left to right, mostly contains the family of Archduke Albrecht 128, a great military commander of the following generation. East wall. Proceeding along the east wall, from north to south, the direct ancestors of the last emperors. Franz Joseph Vault. By 1908 the 7 vaults of the crypt already held 129 bodies, plus the heart urns of another 3 persons. In that year the Franz Joseph's Graft was built, along with the adjacent chapel, as part of the celebrations of Emperor Franz Joseph's 142 60 years on the throne. The vault is usually entered from the north wall in the rear, through the southeast door of the new vault. For the foot of the tombs, left to right, turning around from the foot of the tombs, the doorway on the south wall of this vault leads into the crypt chapel. Crypt chapel. The Graft Kapelle was built, along with the Franz Joseph Vault, in 1908. It is usually entered from the south doorway of the Franz Joseph Vault, as one enters, to the right extending from the west wall. A memorial tablet to the first victims of the World War 1914 to 1918, Archduke Franz Ferdinand X 863, son of Archduke Karl Ludwig 138, and to Franz Ferdinand's wife, Sophie, Duchess of Hohenberg 868. Because Sophie could not be buried here, the couple is buried instead in the crypt of the castle at Artstetten. Ahead, to the right of the altar along the south wall. To the left of the altar. To the left, in front of the east wall, a statue of the Madonna, presented by Hungarian ladies in 1899 as a memorial to Empress Elizabeth of Bavaria. 143. In the far right corner, a memorial bust of Emperor Karl I of Austria 887, the last reigning emperor, whose body is buried in the Nossa Senhora de Monte Church in Funchal on the Portuguese island of Madeira. Family tree. The doorway to the right enters the east side of the Franz Vault. The west doorway, to the left, is an exit stairway. Selected other Habsburgs. Not all of the significant Habsburgs are entombed here. Those referred to in this article but resting elsewhere are his descendants' successors as kings of Spain, in the crypt of El Escorial, near Madrid. His descendants, the inner Austria line, in the Stiftsbasilica in Seketsu. After the Imperial Crypt opened in 1632, his descendants, the Austrian line, are the major group entombed in this Imperial Crypt. Future entombments. A specific place remaining in the crypt chapel is reserved for Archduchess Yolanda, wife of Archduke Karl Ludwig 148. There is room for two others along the east wall. Any other entombments would most easily be located along the south wall in the new vault. There is also room in the Tuscan Vault, but that would not follow the generally chronological arrangement of the tombs. Cremated remains can be accommodated within the piers in the corners of the Ferdinand Vault. Since 1971, members of the family are mostly entombed in the crypt of the Loretto Chapel of the Benedictine Monastery at Muri, Switzerland, which was founded in 1027 by Count Radbot von Habsburg.